Folks, Florida was in the news today. Of course, the orange one decided to tweet about the race, and so he decided to talk about Ron DeSantis trying to help his campaign. And so he sent this tweet out. It's kind of weird. He tweeted, in Florida, there's a choice between a Harvard, Yale educated man named Ron DeSantis, FL, that's his Twitter handle, who has been a great congressman and will be a great governor, and a Dem who is a thief and who is mayor of poorly run Tallahassee, said to be one of the most corrupt cities in the country. I want to go to our panel here. So I guess we can praise DeSantis for going to Harvard and Yale, but I guess we call the HBCU graduate a thief.
Man, that's a trash tweet from a trash president. That is a trash tweet from a trash leader. I mean, if we even call him a leader. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, FAMU, our HBCUs on many levels compete with Ivy League schools and better than Ivy League schools, provide a better experience than a lot of the Ivy League schools. But to try to make that comparison, I mean, that's not a dog whistle. That's a dog holler.
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, if anybody has watched the previous debates, I would say, if anything, I almost feel sorry for Harvard and Yale, because that has certainly depressed their value in terms of what you would think that they would produce in terms of a graduate. So, it is obviously, as you mentioned, a dog whistle from a campaign that started from the very beginning with alludes to racism in terms of monkeying it up and his known consortium with white supremacists. So he's just continuing down the gutter, as we can expect from him.
Michael Andrew Gillum responded on Twitter, there's a choice between having the courage to at the person you are trash talking or not. Real Donald Trump is howling because he's weak. Florida, go vote today.
Well, I'm glad to hear him take the high road as usual. I mean, he's a classy person and a classy candidate. I'm a proud dad of FAMU students. My twin sons went to FAM, so I have a lot of respect for FAM students as well as for the soon-to-be governor. But this is what we're seeing behind us too, Roland, with Melanie Campbell and the Black Civic Participation is what we used to do. We used to sit around in our living rooms. At least I used to watch my grandmother have phone banking folks. People would get a phone, and they sit in the corner of the living room. She would serve tea and sandwiches, and people would just call their neighbors and say, I hope you're going to get out to vote. And that's what this is all about, not just for the Florida elections, but elections all over this country, up and down the ballot. So I'm glad to see that Melanie is keeping up the good work, and I'm glad you decided to host the show here in our offices.
That's going to be a lot of campaigning. The White House has announced Donald Trump is going to hit. He have 11 rallies in the next 8 days. Also, President Barack Obama.
Wait a minute, don't you have a country to run?
Yeah, no kidding. And so, again, 11 rallies in 8 states. President Obama also is hitting the road as well. He was in Georgia campaigning for Stacey Abrams, and so we're seeing that as well. And interesting today, former President Jimmy Carter came out and said that Brian Kemp, who, of course, who was Secretary of State, who's running for governor on the Republican side, should step down as Secretary of State. Previously, they have done so. And so, perfect example, again, where Carter trying to lead now. Like you're saying it right now, it would have been great to say this a month or 2 months ago. But again, to have the person who is Secretary of State still governing the elections when they're running for governor, that's trash.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you. I mean, you cannot self-deal yourself. You can't self-deal yourself. I mean, the thing is this. Even let's say Kemp wins, right? The next 4 years of him as governor is going to have a huge shadow over it. Because essentially, you self-dealt yourself and stole the election. That's going to be the narrative. Mm-hmm. And with that narrative, you get nothing done as a governor.
But he doesn't care. Here's the reality. The Republican Party is about sheer power by any means necessary. And so we have seen from all of the underhanded tricks and overt voter suppression that he's been involved with, he doesn't care. He just wants to win. And I would say right now, if Stacey Abrams does not win on election night, I would have her contest that victory, the loss, because I do not trust him to oversee a fair election. He's clearly looking to build in an advantage for himself, and he's not going to do anything. Absolutely.
It's probably going to go to a runoff.
Because you have 3 candidates.
There's 3 candidates in there, and if nobody gets 50% plus 1, then we were dealing with a whole nother, I guess, roughly month. I mean, so we have a runoff there, we have a runoff in Mississippi at the same time.